And what a powerful acknowledgement that is. When you walk around your world going, wow. I mean, doesn't that just change things? When you walk around going, wow, I have impact. It does. It does. When you look at the grass growing outside, the trees out your window, the sky, the air that you breathe, and you say to yourself, I have impact upon all of life. Does that not shake the foundation of who you perceive yourself to be? And from time to time, you've encountered people that have hurt you because you're a human being. Here on planet Earth, this is part and parcel of what happens to us. We get used or abused or spoken to in an unfathomable way, and it hurts and it stays with us, and we call it trauma, and we call it past life trauma, and it begins to erode and corrode at the fabric of our own happiness. Have you ever asked yourself this question? Why do people think that they can speak to me the way that they do? Have you ever gone through the comment section of somebody's video here on YouTube and asked yourself the same question? Why do people behave this way? Who lets them, who allows them, and who sanctions it within them? Like, who thinks it's tolerable or okay to abuse another person physically, verbally, emotionally, or otherwise? And yet we see it everywhere, from the comment section to your own personal relationships. Why do people treat other people so badly? What happens? We can analyze and make excuses and go, oh, it's because of when they were little, blah, 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 this happened to them. But I don't want to excuse. This is not about excusing someone's behavior. Rather, it's about understanding someone's behavior. And here it is. The reason why people speak sometimes so appallingly to others that it becomes abusive is because they don't believe that they have power. They don't believe that they have impact. Can you imagine that? They're walking around the world feeling so powerless and invisible that when they shout at another person, punch another person, hit, scream, abuse, do whatever it is that they do, within themselves, they can't believe that somebody could ever feel hurt by what they're doing or impacted by what they're doing because they feel invisible. And the more invisible they feel, and the more powerless and the more helpless they feel, the more inadequate they feel, the louder the voice booms, the stronger the punch gets. Do you understand the dynamic of what's taking place? We're dealing with a society en masse that feels voiceless, powerless, and that's when you see people say the most insane, outlandish, crazy things that you can't believe, their audacity, their cheek. How could they speak to you that way? And then, worst of all, what happens is there's this proverbial line. I know you've heard it before. Maybe you've even said it before. Don't take it personally. Don't take it personally. It's virtually impossible for you not to take it personally if somebody's punched you. It's virtually impossible for you not to take it personally when somebody has personally attacked you. I'm not saying that it's totally impossible. It's just really difficult, right? It's really difficult. And I know that many of you have practiced it, and I've certainly become a lot better at it. A lot better. But this is something that I've learned over the years of dealing with people and scratching my head and going, how is this possible? Recently, I had somebody send me an email, just the most outlandish accusations that I knew weren't true, telling me, Kerry, you're asking me for more money. It was a member of my online community. You're asking me for more money, and your website's not working, and I can't log in. But I'm looking at the call logs, and I'm seeing that she is logged in. So I'm going, what is this about? Well, it turns out that this person, after sending many abusive emails, it turns out that she was clicking the wrong button. Instead of clicking the button to log in, because that's what you do when you log in, she was clicking the button to join. And so it was wanting to charge her again as a new customer. because that's what she was clicking. So you see, this is something that many people who work in call centers and customer relationship will tell you, is that most of the complaints that they receive is user error, but people who are perpetrating user error, in other words, it's their own fault, they will blame the cashier, the call center agent, the whoever it is, because they might feel stupid or inadequate, or just that no one's listening to them. They might feel that no one's listening to them, so they get louder and louder and louder, thinking that eventually they're going to have impact, not realizing that they had impact the moment they started speaking. See, there's the remedy, isn't it? The remedy is to understand that we all have impact. How I treat myself is where it all starts. You see, how you treat yourself, that is the foundational relationship for all others. So when you see people in the world and they're not listening to you or dismissing you or treating you badly, they are reflecting the way that they treat themselves, because that's their standard. That's their normal. They might treat themselves really harshly. They might treat themselves really critically. They're going to spill that out into the world and demand the world meets them with whatever standard they want, but they can't meet themselves at that place. The foundational relationship you have with yourself is the one that matters the most. How you speak to yourself is the relationship that matters the most. And it's from this relationship that all other relationships are built. So when you're walking around imagining that you don't have impact, imagining that you're invisible, imagining that you're powerless, it's because you feel that way and you're assuming everybody else is interpreting you in the way that you feel, but they're not. They're not. Because when I fed back to this person that I was telling you about moments ago who'd emailed me and I said, you're being very abusive to myself and to my team. We can't accommodate that here, so you're going to have to leave. When I did that, she was totally surprised that her messages were viewed as being abusive. And then she carried on to share how she'd been abused, and she carried on to share her own deep trauma. And this is the case, you see. This person was oblivious to the impact of what she was saying. People perceive themselves as being so voiceless, so powerless, that they think that you're interpreting them in the same light, when in fact you might be experiencing the onslaught of their attack. Imagine the relationship of a child now to their parent. Can you understand how the child looks up at mom or looks up at dad as their world? Your opinion, mom, your opinion, dad, really matters to me, so I'm going to sponge it in. I'm going to take it in the most, the loudest. But if that adult is walking around the world feeling as if nobody listens to me, feeling as if they are voiceless, choiceless, powerless, inadequate, then their assumption is that they've got to speak louder, punch harder, become even more impactful, because they don't understand they've always had impact. Here's an example that I want to give you. Somebody who I love very deeply and who I'm very close with had a terribly, criminally abusive father, criminally abusive. And you know what the crazy thing is that at no point did the father ever feel that his punches, his violence, his screaming and his shouting had any impact on his family, his wife, or his children. He had no idea. He had no idea how traumatized they were, how wounded they were, how impacted their lives are today as adults because of his behavior in their childhood, because he couldn't perceive of himself being important enough to make a difference to their world. This is the negative impact that we can have on another person when we don't self-honor. See, it's very easy to think, well, the way I treat myself is personal to me, and it's only got to do with me and me. No, it spills over from you to everything and everyone around you. So therefore, what if? It's a beautiful question to ask yourself. What if you begun to treat yourself more beautifully, if you begun to feel divinity and the fluidity of divinity flowing through you? And just the presence of that glorious field of consciousness interacting with your body and how it then spills out from you, because it does, because that's the nature of divinity. It cannot be contained. It's just this ever-expansive thing. You begin to see the truth to the words that I shared with you earlier. You really do have impact. So the next time somebody speaks to you really badly, I know what I'm going to say to you now. It's going to make you roll your eyes. Don't take it personally, but seriously, don't take it personally. Understand that that's a reflection of their personal relationship with themselves and the fact that they feel that they have no impact, because if they knew the power of their words and the impact of them on your life, they would restructure those words, because they cannot possibly perceive of themselves as having impact. And yes, I know that there are many people in this world who are abusive and narcissistic and want, you might say to me, yeah, but I've got somebody in my life who they want to cause me pain. They want to cause me harm. Yeah, they might want to, but they still can't believe that they are. So they keep trying, because something in them will not allow them to see this one fundamental truth: you have impact. And what a powerful acknowledgement that is. When you walk around your world going, wow. Doesn't that just change things? When you walk around going, wow, I have impact. It does. It does. When you look at the grass growing outside, the trees out your window, the sky, the air that you breathe, and you say to yourself, I have impact upon all of life. Does that not shake the foundation of who you perceive yourself to be? And it's the truth, but could you start acting that way? It sometimes takes a loved one to tell you, you have great impact in my world, but will you listen? If not, will you listen to the words I'm telling you now? You have impact on the sun and the air and the stars around you, and everything you interact with and everything you don't interact with, and everything that is in proximity to you. You have impact. How many times do I say to you guys, be the ripple? You are the ripple of light, the ripple of consciousness. You are sheer energetic impact upon creation. And by seeing that, by acknowledging that, you become a more responsible caretaker, a more responsible custodian of your own energy field, and therefore of its impact. You see, for beings who are born to the false matrix, who perpetuate this idea that you're voiceless, choiceless, powerless, invisible, to suddenly realize, whoa, the exact opposite is true. I really have impact. It's a big shift. I want you to just stop, take stock, and understand, wow, I have way more impact than I thought I did. So now it's time to be responsible with that impact, because that's the bottom line. Whether that impact is positive or negative, that's in your control. That is yours to determine. But do you have impact? Yes or no? That is not yours to determine. That is a categoric yes. Yes, you do. Yes, you do have impact. But will it be powerful, positive, beautiful, and divine? Start with a relationship to self. Meet me in my online community if you want to be supported in your journey of conscious awakening and the return to the love that you are, because you deserve to live there. You deserve to live in the power of personal responsibility, because that's what personal responsibility is. It's not punishment, it's power. Come and find out more. Join my online community at kerryk.com. Oh, got a lot to share with you from my heart all the way into yours. Feel it, take it in. Share this message with those who need it. Speak to you really soon. Bye-bye for now, everyone.